Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Please take a seat.
Thank you.
It might be comfortable here for us. It's a really service-oriented event. So I was told we can order a coffee. Are you a coffee drinker?
I do.
Sometimes?
I try to do just 2 per day, but I can go with a
So you had already 2, or we can order 1?
Let's order 1.
Okay. So 2 cappuccino, coffee, cappuccino, espresso?
Espresso.
Espresso. 1 cappuccino, 1 espresso, if this works. Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure.
So the organizers of the event have planned us very early as an opening speech. I was wondering, when is a normal office day of the UEFA President starting in Lyon, Switzerland?
Between 8 and 8:15.
Okay. So it's a normal time for you this morning.
Yeah, it's okay. This is not very early.
I have 3, let's say, general topics I would love to discuss with you. The general situation in European football, including investors, club ownerships, of course, the Champions League and this other league. I forgot the name, but we come
I
back
also
to
forgot the name.
we come back to this later. And the Euro in Germany. Would you mind if we start with that?
Absolutely not.
It will be your second final tournament in your position as a president. The first edition in 21 was still overshadowed by the pandemic. Very different circumstances in the different host cities. Now we can expect in Germany this summer full stadiums, fans from all over the world. So my first question is not to the UEFA president, it's to the fan of football, to the football lover. How excited you are 4 months before this event in Germany?
Yeah, I'm super excited. My colleagues said to me when I started my mandate that the thing to enjoy is the Euro. They say, wait for the Euro. Club competition is great, but it's day by day. Euro is, a different tournament. Now, I was not, I would say, super lucky because the Euro was in 11 countries. And on top of it, we got the pandemic. First, we had to move it for 1 year. Then after that, traveling was a problem and everything else. It was not a super nice because some fans had to travel from Azerbaijan to Rome, for example, and things like that. Now, this Euro, I think it will be something special. I'm really looking forward to it. There's a crazy amount of tickets needed. And for me, it's even special because after...
I guess you might have good chances to get some tickets.
I'll try.
Yeah.
I'll try. But for me, it's even more important because after 24 years, my Slovenia qualified to the Euro. Yeah. So I said I can't help them, but I can still, without showing it, feel
for this moment, you are allowed to be a patriot, I guess, for the matches.
Yeah, you're always allowed to be a patriot, but not showing that you are a fan.
So, as we approach the UEFA 2024 Euro, anticipation is building. Can you share UEFA's expectations for the tournament in Germany? What do you expect?
I mean, honestly speaking, I'm expecting a great Euro. I don't like to use the words that are used too much, the best ever and things like that, because everybody says for every tournament now this one is the best ever. But you are very good organizers. You have great infrastructure. Thank you. You have great infrastructure. The venues are pretty close, except maybe Munich and Hamburg and Berlin. We did a great deal with Deutsche Bahn for cheaper tickets for fans, and I'm really looking forward to it. I just wish that it's a football event, that it's an event where we will enjoy and that it will not be used for any populism or things like that. I want to speak about football if possible.
Yeah, as I've heard from the German Football Federation, from DFB, that they got requests for 30 million public tickets. So, of course, not everybody will get a ticket. It might be a task for the organizing committee. This is a joint venture between you and the German Federation to create not only the party in the stadiums, outside the stadium as well, right?
Yeah, that's very important. We really received 30 million tickets. What is amazing as a request for tickets, what is amazing is that before anybody knew who will qualify except Germany, we had 20 million requests already. And it will be a bit more, I think, than 2.7 million tickets available. Many fans will come without tickets, I'm sure, so we have to work on organizing a public view, and we will do it.
Beyond the matches, what do you expect about the impact of the Football Euro on Germany, both in terms of politics, society, and on the governing football body as well?
First of all, politics, I think that not just for Germany, but a competition like that can show the unity of Europe. From the other point of view, people are these days rarely patriotic anywhere, except when their national team plays. I've seen it that we all show flags, we all sing the national anthems when your national team plays. And I think that's good, because a tournament like that can bring a lot of positive energy. I think that in Europe, there's a lot of negative energy now. A lot of things that shouldn't happen, a lot of worrying things, and I think an event like that can be something positive. We can show that we are friends, that we can connect around the football match, and so on. About the economy, look, at least 3-4 million tourists will come. That's good.
It's a positive impact.
It's a positive impact. It's a big promotion for the country, for the future. It can have very good impact also with new infrastructure, and here I think that infrastructure is very sustainable, which is good, because we had some, especially World Cups in countries where it was used once and not anymore in the past. So I think if we are smart and we are a bit lucky, the impact will be only positive.
As we are approximately like 4 months before the event, what is still to do? What kind of homework is not done yet?
It's always a lot to do, but it started years ago, so I think we are more or less ready. I think that for the details, I think that our CEO of UEFA Events is your guest as well.
Yep.
I think you should speak to him about it. He knows more about details, but I know about details only when there's a problem. Then they come to see me, but for now they say it's smooth.
Yeah.
It's smooth, so I think it will be okay.
So I was hoping finally, you know, we have a lot of journalists here as well, not only representatives of the sports business, just a few facts and figures, some insights regarding the Euro 4 months ago. What would you like to mention?
I mean, the most important thing is that we have such a request for tickets. This 30 million is an amazing number. Very important thing is that we have, I think 60% of tickets that cost 60 euros or more or less, which is an important thing that every fan can go. We have this deal with Deutsche Bahn, which is again good news for the fans. They can buy cheaper tickets for long distances. We are trying to do as green Euro as possible, together with the government and of course DFB, without any populism and without thinking that or presenting ourselves as the smartest in the world. We'll do whatever we can.
My last question regarding the Euro topic is, what can UEFA do to bring the German national team in a bit better shape?
I think that you have, I know that you have a very good football players. You were not, I would say, super lucky these last years, but I wouldn't underestimate the German national team at the Euro in Germany. You never underestimate the Germans.
You know, we still hope for the old quality of the team, of the Mannschaft, if it comes to the tournament.
Yeah, but you know, it goes in cycles. you didn't have much results in the last years, you will turn up for sure. With big teams, it's like that. Remember France in 2010 at the World Cup? They were really with quite good players, not a very strong team. Now they're top. It's really hard to say. But you have players, you have a good coach, you have a good federation. I don't see why the result
will be there. So
yeah, especially at home. For me, Germany is one of the 4 favorites.
President, please, let's move on to the broader European football landscape. What is the big picture from your perspective? Any significant trends you would like to highlight regarding the European football?
I mean, European football is in good shape. I said many times that probably one of the only, if not the only, product of Europe that is by far the best in the world is football. Economy is shifting a bit, many things are shifting out, football doesn't. And that's the reason is that football is part of our culture, it's part of our history. You know, you cannot just buy it. You can buy other stuff, but not football. You cannot move football somewhere else because of lower taxes or to offshore. You don't. This is, I think that, I'm sure that European football is in good shape. Now, what is the challenging thing is, from one side, you need investments. From the other side, you have to keep it for everyone. And this is always hard to maneuver between those two.
Yeah. Speaking about the global influence, how does UEFA view the role of these global investors for the European football, especially in club football, but not only? Are they a curse or a blessing?
I wouldn't say that they are a curse or a blessing. I wouldn't say that automatically investors out of Europe are not good. As long as they respect the rules, I think they're welcome. It's always important to know who is the owner. With big funds, you never know exactly who is the owner. They many times manage the funds for the investors. And you have to know because of the connections between the two, 3 clubs. Because for me, one of the main things is that keeps football so important is perception of people. If you have 2 clubs, for example, and you have one small club and one big club. In football, a big club can lose with a small club. It happens every day, and that's the charm of football. But if it's one owner, then perception of people is, this is not fair, and so on. So this is one of the challenges we are dealing with. We want investors to come, but we want rules to be kept.
And you still believe in the financial fair play for European football. UEFA is not even anxious to start a legal fight with Manchester City. So how do you want to comment this case? So you believe in financial fair play?
First of all, our financial fair play is now, the new one is great. Every league wants to do it as UEFA did it. Before, you could spend like 200% of your budget for transfers and salaries and agents. Now we limited it to 70%. That might or should keep the clubs more sustainable. Of course, I will not comment any concrete cases. We have an independent body deciding on everything. And but I believe in financial fair play, and trust me, we are trying to do as much as we can, because that's important for us as well. I think that when all the leagues, especially the big leagues, do the financial fair play rules similar as UEFA, things will get better.
Okay. On a related note, multi-club ownership has become more relevant. Bayern Munich has recently bought a club in Uruguay. We have in Germany RB Leipzig as part of the Red Bull group of clubs in Northern America and Africa and Europe. Do you see this trend as a blessing or as a potential threat for football, the multi-club ownership?
For you, everything is black and white. No, I think it can. Look,
I try to make life easier.
Look, by my opinion, to have a club on in another confederation, in principle, is less of a problem. That can be a development of football all around the world. The problem occurs when you have two clubs in the same competition, and this we don't allow. If you have a club in Uruguay and a club in Germany, I don't see where you can create problems. I think that about multi-club ownership, it's coming more and more, and we have to think if we want to pretend it doesn't exist, or we want to put the rules and say you can do this and this, you can't do this and this. This is what we are discussing now. Because, you know, I don't want that you have a club and then you create an entity that we cannot know who is the owner and you have another one. It's better to have strict rules and say you can have this and this amount, not full control, of course. So we're still discussing. Honestly speaking, if I couldn't tell you, I would tell you that I can't speak about it, but we just started to discuss about it, and it's a difficult topic.
I can understand that you are relaxed if Bayern Munich buys a club in Uruguay, but what about RB Leipzig and RB Salzburg if they meet in the Champions League qualification group?
Again, to speak about concrete clubs wouldn't be correct from my side, but they settled the situation. They had problems, then they spoke with our experts, and our experts told them what do they have to do to not to have so much influence on the other clubs. So now they're fine.
One of the most powerful investors in football is Saudi Arabia. It's coming up. I had a project last year in Saudi Arabia, non-football, but consulting the Ministry of Sports and Olympic Committee. I was 10 weeks there in Riyadh, and what I learned is, regarding their ambitions in football and sport, the sky is the limit. The pockets are full of money. They have this sports fund, $650 billion. The last years, Germany spent like $4 billion in sports.
And it's a lot.
So are you afraid of this new superpower in football?
No, no, no. Why should we be afraid? Now, first, they, as much as I know, Newcastle is owned by
Saudi investor
company,
fund.
Yeah. I think they are doing a good job, as much as I know. I was positively surprised when I saw they didn't buy superstars and they still have a good result. Now, it's perfectly okay if Saudi League wants to become a power in the league football. But my personal opinion, and I don't want to preach them or something like that, is that the approach is wrong. Because first of all, if you buy the players that mainly can't play in Europe anymore, you overpay them. Do you develop your young players? I don't think so. It was similar, I think, in China, and it didn't end up very well, but it's not us. What I've seen is a survey about football in Europe. European fans follow two things. They follow their club or their national team or both, and they follow the competition. Mm-hmm. They don't follow the player to the moon. They watch, I don't know, you mentioned Bayern Munich or Leipzig. They watch Bundesliga, and they watch the Euro and the World Cup. And they follow their club. And this cannot be changed so easily, you know. Football is, thanks God, one of the things that you cannot buy. Look, we have Champions League finals where we could sell 20 million tickets. We could put any price.
You would sell these tickets?
Absolutely. But because I've seen the Super Bowl, they say the price is this, you don't have money, next. In Europe, we get people on the street. You know, you cannot do that. Football is ours. They say it's ours. You cannot do it. So you always have to be careful with that. It simply cannot be bought. Try to say to the fans in Germany, I'll pay you something and you support another club. I don't think how many you will get. So that's why I'm not. It's good that they develop football. I hope they succeed, but that would be a threat for European football. No, that's not.
Will we see one day a Champions League final in Saudi Arabia?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I will not be there forever, so I can say for my turn.
For your circle, we come back to this topic later.
Yeah.
So let's move to the UEFA Champions League. Turning our attention on this, and how satisfied are you with the recent compromise on its reform, especially considering the backdrop of the Super League? How satisfied are you with the constitution of the Champions League now?
I mean, it's a great change. It's no compromise. It's something that will make football even more interesting, Champions League even more interesting, more unpredictable competition, more teams in Champions League, more teams in Europa League, and more teams in Conference League. So it's more or less a win-win. The only downside is that it will be more matches, and the calendar is already crazy full. But I think it's a good. It will be a great competition. The only thing I think we didn't do well, but we are now working on it, is to communicate better. Because I meet my friends on the street, and they say, "What is this? Who plays whom? How are the groups?" You know, nobody knows. Even journalists are asking the same question. So we'll have to communicate now as soon as possible, because it starts soon.
So what can you do to explain it better? I mean, here are the opinion leader of sports business, Germany and Europe, so it's your stage.
Yeah, but it would take, I see we have 22 minutes.
Okay,
I would need 222
you need an hour.
minutes.
I talk with Marco.
Yeah, so we have a group of experts at UEFA at competition division. We have Giorgio Marchetti, who is a mastermind in this, and they will explain they will go and discuss with leagues, and they will invite the clubs. They will explain to the media better. It will happen now, I think, in a week or so we start.
Now I remember this name of the other league. It's Super League.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if you heard about it.
I think I did, but
they were like celebrating in the press release or some comments the legal decision that was made 2 weeks ago, that obviously would limit the exclusivity of UEFA to organize football tournaments or competitions in Europe. How dangerous is this development legally for your federation?
Look, I'm slowly tired to even speak about that, but I will do you a favor because you asked me.
You're a very kind person.
Yeah. Look, there was a press release, and there was a decision of the court. That was completely different. Now, why they celebrate, you have to ask them. I'm a lawyer, I'm not an expert in but look, football ecosystem in Europe doesn't want it. Now, they go with courts, they go with threats. I got a letter last night before I went to sleep again. I didn't understand what they want, but they were threatening like something that they will sue us again and things like that.
A letter from
A2.
Yeah, okay.
The letter from A2. So for me, it's really tiring to comment. You know, no police, no army can force you to play something that you don't want. But there, of course, we are open, they can play. We told many times, play your competition. No, they prefer playing our competition and filing lawsuits every day. It's tiring, you know, it's tiring, and it shows some kind of desperation. You cannot force something that is by my opinion, and I think that you can have an opinion in Europe still, is that this is a non-football project.
You think the Super League won't happen?
No, I think it will not happen.
Yeah. So, of course, most of the clubs, there are just a few exceptions, most of the clubs say we keep going for sure with Champions League and UEFA and these competitions. Do you trust these clubs? I mean, if it really comes to the big money, clubs sometimes change their opinion?
I mean, everybody can change the opinion, but the thing is that our system, it's not only UEFA, but the thing that everybody can dream about playing the top competition is so good for football that you simply can't change your mind if you love football. But of course, people, clubs, governments, everybody changes their mind from time to time.
On the other hand, UEFA has received backing from some political decisions. Do you foresee continuous political support from the European Union?
Look, for European Union, as much as I saw, is very important to keep the European sports model alive. Because why European football is so strong? Because of the pyramid. Because everybody can dream to play a big competition. In basketball, many things changed. But basketball is not football. And I see, and this is a positive side from the European politicians, that they want the European sports model to stay alive, and it will stay alive. It's also a charm of football that David can beat Goliath. I was in Slovenia at a match, Mura, I'm sure you never heard about that club, 2 million budget, against Tottenham, like 500 million budget. And Mura won. And
congratulations.
that's football.
Yeah.
You know, that's only football, and that's why the moment you make an elite competition, I think it would be boring. I think it would even bring less money, and of course it would not be distributed to everyone like it's now. 93.5% of all our revenues in the club competition, 93.5 goes back to the clubs. 10% altogether goes to the non-participating clubs, so the clubs who don't qualify, 10%, which is much more than before. I think this is how, and also some people from some big clubs don't understand that the best players were not raised in the big clubs. They came from different small clubs. Because of the system, they have a chance. If there's no system, there's no chance.
So you mentioned the distribution of revenues. With the Champions League reform, how do you envision the distribution in the future? Will it change, or will it keep being the system, or is this a new system?
This is the new system. It came up to 10%, which with all the budget, it's a big amount of money.
Yeah. Apropos next year's, you will have a UEFA Congress next week in Paris. There were some internal hiccups about this discussion, a circle of officials, like for your presidency, but not only, of course, about you. Why did this was usually your proposal to limit the circles for UEFA officials? Why did you change it?
I explained like 5 times in the last 2 weeks.
But you are the first time.
What is the change? But it's legally, obviously, a bit complicated. So, first of all, it's not a legal question.
It's not a legal.
It's not a legal question because nothing changes about terms from before to now. The thing is that the statute was changed by some of our colleagues from administration to the right direction, but without the Congress. So the hiccups were mainly some media hiccups, mainly from England, because they like to see some controversy. But I'm sorry that I cannot tell more. I will explain everything in Paris next week, and you will see how the story will be dead in 5 seconds.
Okay, of course I understand we cannot start the UEFA Congress here in Hamburg. But of course my question is, why was this reaction of your colleague and usually supporter from Croatia that he stepped back from UEFA?
I will also explain that next week. I think there are some
So you make promotion for next week. We should follow the Congress. I think it would be worth to watch the Congress and press conference. You will understand everything. Okay, good. So the German Federation already declared that they support your proposal. And I have the impression, after my information from the DFB, in general, the cooperation with Germany is quite good for you.
Yeah, the cooperation is very good. We communicate regularly. In the last 10 years, you've changed presidents very often. As a biggest probably federation in the world, it's quite. It was quite surprising.
There were different reasons for changes.
Yeah, I don't enter into that, but it's always, it's always good to have stability, and I think now you have stability. You have people that communicate well. I told Bernd that he's not lucky because many things for the president depends on the national team results, which he can't influence. I remember when I was president of federation, I told the coach, if you win, you and the players are heroes. If you lose, you and me are idiots. President is always negative, so this is another matter of the results.
Might be part of the job description, so be careful to become a president.
Yeah, yeah. The relation is very good. We cooperate well also around the Euro. We are in contact all the time. I also came partly here because of the respect for the DFB and for the respect that we have Euro here.
So I have the impression you will clarify this situation regarding the circles and the regulations for officials in the UEFA, so we can expect another circle of presidency for you too.
You are not patient. You have to wait till Paris.
It was a nice try.
Yeah.
I would like to talk with you briefly about women's football. You did a lot of efforts to develop the Women's Champions League, and we see some results. Number of spectators in stadiums are amazing. The big clubs do more commitments for women's football. What is your summary regarding the situation of the Women's Champions League?
I mean, women's football is growing exponentially. It's a lot of investment, but it's growing. It's unbelievable that you have 70, 90,000 spectators at a women's match. 10 years, you wouldn't believe that that can happen. The thing is that we still get revenues, positive revenues, only from the A men's competition. All youth and women, we still lose money. But we call it investment, because it is investment, because we lose less and less and less. I'm telling to the sponsors that I think that now is the chance to invest into women's football, because it's still not very expensive. Men's A competition is expensive, and it's growing. It's really growing. You see, for example, Champions League finals. It was amazing atmosphere, full stadium. We are always sold out. So now we created the second competition as well, which would mean that, because if you have only top teams playing, then the others are further and further away. So I'm very optimistic about women's football. I think, you have to know, maybe not in Germany, maybe not in England, maybe not in Scandinavia, but some countries, 10 years ago, even in Europe, women didn't play football. It was not the sport for women. So it's so new that we have to be patient to develop it, and we have to invest.
So good. It's a good phase for sponsors, for investors to get involved in this positive trend. This is what.
Yeah, and it's not only for huge companies. It's also for companies who can't afford to sponsor, and the attention is bigger and bigger.
You mentioned the increasing number of spectators in the stadiums. On the other hand, we have the media reception. Do you know what have been the football matches in 2022 and 23 in Germany with the highest rating? Women's matches.
I didn't know.
Yeah. The football Euro in 2022, one match, and the match against Colombia in Australia. So this is quite interesting.
But let me tell you one more. Every match of the Euro is bigger than the Super Bowl. And the finals of the Euro, England-Italy, was watched by more spectators in the United States than the NBA finals. So in the US only. So
in the US?
In the US. So this shows you that European football is still strong.
It's an interesting discussion about this women's football and the reputation, because on the other hand, we had a huge fight between FIFA and the main broadcasters in Europe, UK, Italy, Germany, about the media rights for the FIFA World Cup in Australia last year. There was a really last-minute decision, tough negotiations. And if I'm not wrong, the broadcasters pay like 10% of the fee for men's matches. Your next championship is in Switzerland. How do you want to change the thing?
I mean, I wouldn't blame automatically the broadcasters, because you have to know one thing. From one point of view, they invest, and it's good that they invest. From the other point of view, if the World Cup is in a country which is 12 hours time difference from Europe, they also have to calculate a bit. Now, I don't enter, is it 10, 20, 50%, and I don't want to enter into this. I think we'll have a lot of interest in Europe, probably less in Australia and New Zealand because it's 12 hours time difference.
Yep.
So time difference is very important. For example, if Champions League would be played during the weekend, our revenues would go sky high, but we will never do it because we respect the pyramid, we respect the national leagues. You cannot do that. So it will never happen. But time difference is important, and market out of Europe is a huge market, growing very fast.
So we are very happy to have you here on the SPOBIS Congress. You know, we have so many different topics to discuss here the next two days in talks, in master classes, whatever. I was wondering what you would be interested in. Is it football, other sports too, technology, as a lawyer, maybe legal aspects, if you would have the time? What kind of topics you would attend here?
I mean, sports is always interesting. I know that Mr. Widerer is next. I watched now the handball Euro. It was nice. Slovenia played well. I like all sports, especially sports, collective sports with the ball.
Yeah.
I like basketball. I said the world is getting crazy because Germany is out at the World Cup in football and wins basketball.
Yeah, this is...
This 20 years
and
ago,
ice
I would
hockey
say
was not
crazy.
too bad as well from
yeah,
so.
But things change. So, of course, legal aspects as well. Technology less, to be honest. I'm a bit conservative. Whatever I do, technology-wise, I ask my daughters to do it.
But you have a huge department at UEFA to develop new ways of distribution and the new media. I have to present the TikTok forum here, and this is exactly what you said. I have to ask my goddaughter that she explain me what they do there. So we have to learn. Yeah, we have to learn, but from the other point of view, I don't have any social media. Am I too old or just conservative? I don't know, but or maybe daughters are sending me TikToks, which is sometimes very nice to see, but to have it, I even don't know how to install it. So, me, it's fine. It's fine like that. So, last but not least, Football Euro, I said it, in 4 months it will start. Do you have already a plan what to do? There is some official part, of course, for you to do, but then you can enjoy the tournament. How many of the matches you will see? I don't remember exact number, but I will go every day to a match. Yeah. I will travel around. We created a plan who goes where. Yeah. So I chose different matches. Honestly, since I'm not completely objective, I go to see all 3 Slovenian matches. Why is it not a surprise? The others. So, we are grateful to have you here. Thank you for joining us this morning. Pleasure to come. Thank you for all these insights. And of course, great success and good luck, not only for the Euro, for your presidency in total. Thank you very much, Aleksander Čeferin. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Really? So,
thank you very much. Yes,
we can go.
Thank you.
Und übergeben wieder an Christina die Bühne.
Vielen Dank.
Bitte schön.
So, das war sehr, sehr spannend. Und auch spannend war, dass Aleksander Čeferin ja auch gesagt hat, welche Sportarten ihn sonst noch interessieren. Hat schon ein bisschen angeteasert für uns. Sehr gut gemacht. Es geht nämlich gleich exklusiv um die Zahlen zur Handball-Europameisterschaft. Nach einer kurzen Pause um 10:50 Uhr geht es hier wieder weiter. Wir freuen uns drauf. Also, bis gleich, 10:50 Uhr wieder hier.